Welcome to the TSG Multimedia video podcast for, here it is, Dan, June 1st. We're right in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
This is John sitting with
Dan,
as usual, and we're looking at some N-scale models. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're going to talk about here, Dan?
Okay, well this is a pair of Cato N-scale SD40-2s that I patched for BNSF. And last time we did a podcast, I had an HO scale engine and I was showing how you could do non-directional headlighting in HO with a Loxound select decoder. And someone posted a question on the YouTube channel about how to do it with Digitrax decoders. And by the way, if you're going to ask questions that require basically the modeler, me, to respond, YouTube's not really the best place because I may not see it for 6 months. I don't really go to YouTube very much unless somebody sends me a link to a specific video or something. It's my email, if you want to contact me, is Dan, D-A-N, at tsgmultimedia.com. And you can just send me a question directly that way, if you have something.
I had mentioned that on the audio podcast too, because we get a lot of comments right in the comments segment, and even right now there's some that I received email updates about, and it's just like, just send an email.
Yeah, I'm not trying to ignore anyone, but it's just that I really don't see that stuff very much.
Yeah.
And, to get back to these two engines, this person asked a question about how to do non-directional lighting with Digitrax decoders, and since the only locomotives that I have that have Digitrax decoders in them at this point are in N-scale, I got out a couple of my N-scale engines. Now, I've been playing with the programming of these things, and I haven't found a way to do exactly the same thing where the lights will stay on completely when the things go in the opposite direction. I'm not sure they do that. So I have like 6709 here is one that this has the standard programming. So now it's in reverse, so the lights go away, and then it's back on if I put it in forward again. Now what I've been able to do with 6722 is do what they call Rule 17 lighting, which means that the lights get dimmer in reverse, but they don't go out. So I'll put it in reverse and you'll see they get just slightly dimmer.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Now, did the ditch lights go all the way off? And the headlight?
They're the same. These engines, it's just one bulb lighting the ditch lights, the headlight, and the number boards.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done any custom work to separate them, even though that would be cooler.
So is it a fiber optic strand, or how the heck does that work?
It is sort of fiber optics, but it's like a plastic part that Cato puts together.
Oh, a little light tube thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
These engines, cool. Other than dropping in a decoder and patching them for BNSF, I haven't done anything to them.
They look really nice, though.
So that's what I figured out how to do. And if you want to know the CVs, CV49 is for the front headlight and CV50 is for the back headlight. And by default, they're both set to 0, I think. And what I did was I set 49 to 104, or in hexadecimal, that would be 68. And 50 is set to 120, which in hexadecimal is 78. And I wanted to talk about hexadecimal for a minute, because some people seem to get a little bit confused about hexadecimal numbers. And there's, I don't know about other systems, but on the Digitrax controller, like your DT402 or whatever, when you're programming the engine, if you want to use hex, you can just switch between hex and regular numbers by pressing the knob. Okay, so for an example, here's CV50, which is the rear headlight. That's what this side means, 50 equals. And then this says 120, so that's the decimal, 120. But if you want to see what the hex is, you just press this knob, and it changes it to X, which means hexadecimal, and then 78. And if you look in the manual, it's actually a little bit more useful to look at the hex, because what this really is, just don't worry about mathematics or anything, what this means to a mathematician. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the first number means one thing and the second number means something else. Okay? So if you look at the manual, the Digitrax decoder manual, the first CV 7, or the first number in the CV, which is 7, it says in this chart here, I'm looking on page 42 of the decoder manual, special logic for reverse stitch light or Rule 17 dimming. Okay? And then if you look at the chart on the previous page, page 41, 8 equals Rule 17 dimmable headlight. So you have to basically set both of those.
You're basically combining variables, right?
Right. It's like two different variables that you're setting in one. So it's just, that's how to think of it, is that this means one thing and that means something else. And you just have to follow the charts here. They give you these little charts in the manual, and you can kind of figure out what needs to go in it if you just think about it logically. So there's really nothing mysterious about hex. It's just you have to know how to read the chart and then use the number, and then because you can switch between them, if you want to know what the decimal value is, you just press the thing again and it goes back. Now I don't know how this works on like a NCE or something, some other system. I don't know how they work theirs, because I have Digitrax and that's what I use. But anyway, I just wanted to show that.
Yeah, that was confusing to me, the whole hex thing, because, well, I mean, don't they? Okay, well, here's a little alert for people who want to invent something to get rich. Can't you get like some kind of something that goes on your computer that you can plug this thing into and just tell like a program that you can tell the computer, so you don't have to know all this?
Yeah, they do. They have there's a thing called Decoder Pro.
Oh.
And it's a piece of software that basically allows you to. They have templates, I think, for different brands of decoders.
Oh, that's cool.
And
someone already did it.
Yeah, and you can. I haven't used it myself. I just do it the old school way here.
Is that the one that you can sample the horn sounds and add that to your own?
No, those are usually proprietary. Like LokeSound has their own software that's proprietary for changing the sound files.
Yeah.
But just to change the programming, I think you can use Decoder Pro for just about any brand.
That's a neat way. I mean, like, because if I did all this hexadecimal, and I mean, it's just confusing. It's like learning a different language,
Yeah.
So it just seems like it would be easier.
It's like I said, all it is one number means one thing and one means the other. So
right. The way you described it made sense to me.
Yeah.
So you just have to. I guess I would just have to figure out, how to. Well, it's something you have to get used to, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how to read it. Anyway, if you're gonna, because hex, each digit will run 0 through F. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay,
you see what I mean? It's confusing. Yeah.
Well, it's basically base 16 if you want the mathematics. But like I said, that doesn't matter. You just have to remember how to read the chart.
Right, and which one is which.
Yeah.
And the way you described it as matching a function to the piece that you're affecting.
Right. Each digit is a separate thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all it is. So it's not really that big a deal. Moving on, I'm going to talk a little bit about something I do for modeling. So this ugly bottle that's half cut away is basically what I use to put paint stripper in. So I'd actually even, if I could find one, get one that was even a little smaller than this would be better. Because ideally you'd want it just big enough to fit a locomotive shell in. So you're not having to because you're going to fill it with liquid, and it takes more liquid to fill a bigger container. So in the interest of conserving paint stripper, a smaller container is better. But what I would do, I'm not going to actually put any real stripper in here right now because it's smelly and we're inside, and I don't want to use it inside. It's something I usually do out of doors.
We could get asphyxiated by it.
Yeah, or it's just kind of annoying, obnoxious scent.
Get sick, maybe?
Yeah, could possibly, yeah. It doesn't smell good at all. This shell has obviously already been stripped. But what I would do is just fill this with enough liquid to cover it and then just put it in there. And depending on the brand, you can soak it anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. This is a Proto 2000, and those will usually strip using like a hobby paint stripper like Scale Coat Wash Away or Chameleon, which is another brand. Usually about 30 minutes at most, and all the paint will come out right off. Other brands take longer, and some brands don't ever put a Cato shell into paint stripper. It'll screw it up.
What does it do? Like mess up the plastic?
Yeah, it'll actually, it can crack it,
Really?
And it can also melt the details on it.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, but Proto 2000s are usually all right. Athearn, especially the old blue box Athearns, those are pretty indestructible.
How can someone find out which ones to do it or not to do it?
Kind of trial and error.
Oh, that could be expensive.
Yeah. Well, you can always test it on a small area or on a part that you could replace.
I have a question about this. Now, if you have a bigger container like this, theoretically, couldn't you just like put 2 or 3 in there and do it all at once? Or
yeah, you could.
Oh, okay.
You could.
So
the other thing is that the hobby paint strippers are reusable, so you can save the liquid and put it back in the bottle. It'll get dirty, but it still works. So
Right.
as long as you you won't lose too much, if you don't spill it. But you just want to have something like this that's sort of like a little bathtub,
Yeah.
and then you put it in. And I would be wearing, if this was real, I'd be wearing gloves, because you don't want to get that stuff on your skin either.
Put your hazmat suit on.
Well, I know I just use some of
Respirator.
those like hospital gloves that you can
Yeah,
get.
latex.
Yeah, latex or whatever they are. Just want to do that. And sometimes if there's a stubborn spot, you can use like an old toothbrush and scrape the paint off that way. It won't damage the shell.
That's good, because then when you go to brush your teeth again, it'll take the paint off your teeth too.
Right.
You can make them real white.
Right. So anyway, that's just something I use for stripping paint off of models.
I have another stupid question. Don't they make undecorated models? Like, why would you go buy a decorated model and then strip it? Why not just buy an undecorated one?
Well,
and paint it?
sometimes you can't find an undecorated model.
Oh, you mean like something that's out of circulation, or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're buying something that's older, out of production, you may not have the choice. And sometimes the undecorateds, people want more money for them.
Oh, right.
But that's one thing I like about Proto 2000 is they'll undecorate in like 20 minutes.
Right.
So
all you need is some paint stripper and a bottle.
yeah. So it doesn't really matter what it comes painted as. You can make it undecorated real quick.
There's a cottage industry for you, Dan.
Undecorated.
Undecorated Proto 2000s. You just do it yourself and then
Yeah.
sell them for more.
Yeah.
Now somebody out there is probably doing that.
Maybe. But anyway,
Wow.
I like those for that reason, because they're easy to get the paint off. So anyway, that was my modeling tip for this month.
Okay. So I guess that's it for this month. Join us again, let's see, July 1st. More than halfway through the year for the next video podcast. And the next audio podcast comes out on June 15th. We haven't recorded that one yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to be about. I'm still waiting to hear. I had mentioned on one of our recent podcasts that I was trying to get someone from Caltrain to come on and talk to us, but I haven't quite heard back from him yet. So anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks.